I'm Scott Simi, Chief Content Editor with InDro Robotics, and today's edition of our Soundbite micro podcast is called Ask an Expert. And the expert today is Luke Corbeth, who is head of R&D sales for InDro, and we're talking humanoids. Welcome, Luke.
Thanks for having me, Scott. Let's do it.
All right, so let's start with a basic definition. Just what is a humanoid robot?
So a humanoid robot assumes a human-like form factor. This means that the system has bipedal or two-legged locomotion. And oftentimes when thinking about humanoids, people consider dexterous hands. So they have the capacity for picking and placing different objects and interacting with the environment in smart ways.
What makes a humanoid future exciting? Why is there so much hype around this kind of robot?
What makes the humanoid form factor really exciting is, unlike traditional robots, the infrastructure doesn't need to change to accommodate it. As a result, it can adapt to navigating different environments, using existing equipment, and this means we can likely retrofit factories, offices, and homes, meaning that there's much faster deployment for companies looking to adopt this technology.
This is obviously a newer technology, so what kind of problems have the R&D community been tackling so far?
Yeah, so in the early stages of humanoid development, there's been a lot done in terms of remote control and teleoperation with human in a loop. So that's either VR teleoperation or teach and repeat tactics, which can be extremely useful for complex tasks or putting these robots into what have traditionally been high-risk scenarios. This approach is safer than autonomy, but also, as we work towards autonomy, can be used to provide skill transfers.
I'm going by memory here, but I'm pretty sure I've seen videos of Digit and Boston Dynamics Atlas in factory settings or trials. So I guess the question here is, what can humanoid robots do for industry?
Absolutely. So there's so many possibilities for this kind of system. The main thing is human labor augmentation. So there are a lot of industries where they're looking to fill vacant positions. They want to do these tasks with less risk. So that's tackling those dirty, dangerous, and dull jobs. And ultimately, we see massive operational improvement for improved return on investment. A lot of this is a CapEx investment instead of an OpEx like a salary, but also means that these systems need less training, they don't need benefits, and they can work around the clock.
So when humanoids do eventually have general purpose capabilities, where can we expect them to be used?
Yeah, so a few industries that immediately come to mind are manufacturing, in the home actually, and then for general maintenance. A lot of this in a manufacturing setting could be on the assembly line, doing material handling, welding and painting. In the home, that could be chores, elderly care, mobility aid, and delivery. And then on the maintenance side, it would do a lot of what our robots do today here at InDro Robotics, which is inspection, security, response, but with the added functionality of repairs as well.
All right, so what's holding back humanoids from achieving the future that everyone seems to be imagining?
Yeah, so humanoid robotics and robotics generally hasn't had its big AI moment, for example. And this is largely a data problem. So unlike with LLMs, physical world data is messy, unstructured, and not readily available. Suffice to say, there's a physical versus digital world data deficiency. The good news, at least, is we're making progress with the introduction of new simulation tools, sensor fusion techniques, and real-time AI. A lot of companies are working towards solving this problem to generate a lot of this general purpose capability we envision for humanoids.
Now, some of the videos I've seen appear to be sped up, indicating that humanoids are not yet as fast or as agile as humans. Does that matter?
The answer is kind of no. In a lot of cases, humanoids can work around the clock. So if they're slightly slower than humans are today, their overall productivity can still be higher. And as mentioned, we're still in the early phases of humanoids, so we do expect their reliability and their speed to continue to improve over time.
And finally, Luke, what is InDro offering in terms of humanoids today?
We've partnered with an industry leader in the space in Unitree Robotics to offer both their G1 and H1 humanoid products. Now, these are open source, ROS2 enabled systems with a lot of preloaded functionality, great optionality for hands as well, and of course, capacity for integration. Now, we use these open source platforms to help tackle some of these more use case driven applications as we continue to work towards some larger general purpose approach.
Luke Corbeth, Head of R&D Sales for InDro, thank you for joining us on today's edition of our Soundbite Micro Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Scott.